Well, hello and welcome. This is Gail Martin and Morgan Brice, and today we're going to take a live Zoom Google Earth look at Simon and Vic's Myrtle Beach. Now, Myrtle Beach is the area that the Badlands series is set in. It's also only about an hour and a half or so uh, up the road from Charleston, which is where the Deadly Curiosity series is set. And of course, the main character in the Deadly Curiosity series, Cassidy Kincaid, is Simon Kincaid's cousin. And so we get a lot of back and forth between the two series there, and they talk to each other. And just to let you know, if you're not real familiar with the Carolina geography, that's kind of what we're talking about here. But Simon and Vic are based in Myrtle Beach. And Myrtle Beach is an interesting area in that it was pretty much a developer constructed town right after around the World War II period. So it didn't really arise organically the way most trade-oriented towns or harbor towns did. It was really constructed by the real estate industry to be a vacation space and have be a place where you went to get away from things and go enjoy the beach. So, when people look at it and go, well, do you have any ghost stories that are specifically to Myrtle Beach? Not so much, because it wasn't around in colonial areas. It was marsh and forest land. Now, if you come down the road a bit to Georgetown, and we will go there in a minute, you'll get to see some places that were very much a going concern during the Revolution and before that. And there are ghost stories for all of that. Right here, you can kind of see the big picture. We're going to zoom in on the Myrtle Beach Boardwalk and Promenade. Now, that's where Simon's shop, Grand Strand Ghost Tours, is located. And if you see that sky wheel, that is just a few blocks up from the fictitious location of Grand Strand Ghost Tours. But the Boardwalk and Promenade is a fairly new constructed pathway along the ocean, a lot of fun to walk. And it's got shops and restaurants and, of course, the sky wheel, which figures on the cover of Badlands. So now, these are Google Earth photos. I don't pick them. I don't know who's in them. And not all the photographers are created equal, just so you know. But here you get a look at the beach. Skies like that happen if you're familiar with going to the ocean. They come, they go. 20 minutes later, you've got bright sunny sky. There's one of the many fishing piers that extend out into the ocean. You don't want to get too close, don't want to get a fish hook in you, or some of the sharks that may come for the chum in the water. But a lot of folks love to be out there both to get pictures and see the fireworks that usually go off on Wednesday nights, and look back on the lights in the beach, and also do some nice fishing. Of course, it's a beautiful place to take a walk. Here you get kind of an aerial view of the boardwalk, which is a combination concrete and like Trex pavers and wood. So here you can see some of the shops and bars and restaurants that go along there, and it's a beautiful place to walk. One of those nice Myrtle Beach sunsets. Ice cream makes the world go round. And Wonderworks actually isn't at the actual boardwalk. It's at another venue a little further away called Broadway at the Beach, but it's not actually close to the beach. Now, one of the other places that gets mentioned is the Gay Dolphin Gift Cove, which has been there for about 80 years, and it's got a tall tower for a overlook at, so you can see the beach. And you can see this stretch here where you get the sky wheel, and you also have the yellow pin for the Gay Dolphin. That's the stretch. A couple more shops further away is where, in my mind, the Grand Strand Ghost Tour shop is. So here we go for the Gay Dolphin gift shop. If you can't find something to take home or bring back as a gag gift or a new furnishing or a souvenir, you just haven't opened your eyes in this place, because it is crammed full of everything you can possibly imagine. And some of them are tasteful and some of them are not. And that's all in the eye of the beholder. The last time I was there, there was a nearly life-size Bigfoot statue that was standing next to a nearly life-size Elvis statue. Whatever floats your boat, and they have boats too. So Christmas ornaments, postcards, all kinds of things. It's really, and everything with shells. So it is the total kitschiest, most wonderful place you'll ever walk through. And they've got dragons, there be dragons. And if you can't find something that you like, it's got toys, it's got decorations, you're just not looking too hard. So you can see, this kind of gives you an idea of not only how crammed it is, but the variety of what they have to offer. Now, I'm going to go back and take a look at that sky wheel again, because it merits some respect for being on the cover of Badlands. It's got enclosed cars, and you can go around and get a really nice view of the beach and the hotels and the oceans. And there you see kind of a nice view looking, gay dolphins up here in the right-hand, lower right-hand corner, and you're looking up the beach or down the beach. Here you have a night shot, and you're getting some reflection there. The zigzaggy thing is a reflection of a one of those bungee jump things, statue. There you get to see the bungee jump. There's a restaurant with a pier. Again, I don't know these people. I didn't take their picture, but they're here. It's just one of those fun beach activities that sounds like a good idea when you're at the beach. But it's pretty much a great way to get a bird's eye view of the Grand Strand. And here we have a sense of what the beach looks like and the row of hotels adjacent to the beach. All of the beach in Myrtle Beach is public beach. So whether you're staying at a hotel or not, there are no sections of private beach. There are some public access areas where you're not crossing over a hotel's land to get to the beach, but anybody can be on any part of Myrtle Beach that they want. Family Kingdom Amusement Park, again, gets mentioned as a touchstone and pretty much a landmark in the Badlands books. It's a fun amusement park that is really geared for families with young children. Anybody who's looking for serious thrill rides, this is not going to bring it to them. Although they do have, you know, some adult-sized rides like the what's basically a Matterhorn and the paratrooper ride there and a wooden coaster. Here you get an idea by day. Lights up really nicely at night, and they've got some rides for the older kids and the grown-ups, but they have an extensive kiddie land, and that's pretty much who hangs out here are sometimes the teenagers, but most of the time families with small children. The lights are really pretty at night. So if you're dying for some, dodge them some cotton candy, here you go. That's your spot. You can see some of the kids rides are a big deal there. So Myrtle Beach itself, just to kind of give you an idea of the territory, here we are. And now you can see where a few of the things are in relation to each other, and we'll visit a few more of those in just a minute. But it is predominantly along Ocean Boulevard, all hotels with beachfront access. There are a number of golf courses, and of course there are the restaurants and the amusement places and the Ripley's Believe It or Not, in the medieval times, that keep the tourists busy. A lot of live theater like Opryland and Dixie, well, it was Dixie Stampede, now it's Pirateland, and some rock impersonator shows and some fun things like that. At least that's what there was before the current unpleasantness. The Ripley's Aquarium is very nice, and there's a mall, there's some museums. Wonderland is kind of a science museum, all dressed up like an attraction. But it really exists for the tourists. So the other services and things that are there for the people who live there because they're taking care of the tourists. It really is a tourist-oriented town, and there's not a whole lot else except the tourism piece. But boy, oh boy, do they know how to do tourism well. Now, Brookgreen Gardens shows up in one of the Badlands books, and it is a public statuary garden that is made out of land that had been privately owned and had been part of someone's fairly extensive estate. I will tell you that this collection of photos doesn't really do it justice, because there are a lot of beautiful statues, and that isn't really what they chose to take pictures of. It does have a wildlife area. It does have a walk through a cedar marsh, but it's mostly the plantings. There's a squirrel. And the statuary, here we get a little bit of an idea, but it is a lot of gorgeous statuary. It's very calm, very beautiful, a lot of garden, and that plays a role in one of the Badlands books, where Simon finds that they have unintentionally acquired a haunted statue. Now, in Loose Ends, we end up running into some issues with with Pirate Ghost and a sunken ship that had a haunted cargo, and I wove in a haunted old plantation house and a backstory on that. That place didn't actually exist per se, but I did pull for inspiration from two places, Hopsewee Plantation and Hobclaw House, as well as a little bit from Atalaya Castle. So these are older homes that, while not as opulent as some of the places that we're used to seeing in movies, were extremely opulent at the time. It's got some beautiful live oak with Spanish moss going on there. And here you can see what exists from the house now. So this was definitely the inspiration that I drew from for creating that haunted manor house in the book. And you can see it's quite a comfortable house, particularly for the period. It would have been exceptionally well outfitted at the time. Nicely done. Set up now primarily for tourism, but you've got historic tours and some nice gardens. So that's Hopsewee. Then Hobclaw House, again, this is a little south of Myrtle Beach proper. You can see it's a little more modern than the last one that we saw. There you see it from a distance across the marshland. Notable in this case, because I drew from it for the book, kind of melded the history, and I took authorial license with the history, but took aspects of the history and some of the features of the home and what would have been considered pretty normal at the time for that kind of house from the inspiration of these places. And you can see it's still a very beautiful place, and they do tours, and we've got that live oak and the Spanish moss that just is everywhere, as well as the marshland and some of the cedar land. Now, Atalaya Castle it used to be the winter home of a well-to-do industrialist. It's obviously not quite what it used to be, but I also drew from it and used it for some inspiration in creating that manor house and mansion in Loose Ends. And it's just a lot of fun as I'm putting a book together to look at what does exist, what might exist, what could exist if you put them, you know, if something had gone a little differently, maybe if something hadn't burned down, if something hadn't been wrecked, if something hadn't been left to rot. And what was common at the time, so that when you extrapolate and make up things, you can have at least a foot or maybe a toe in reality. And I think, to me, that grounds it in both the place and the time, so that it isn't completely a flight of fancy. Now, I also mentioned Murrells Inlet, which is where Brookgreen Garden is located, so south of Myrtle Beach proper. And this is indeed an inlet. It's a quiet little town with a lot of marinas and campsites and restaurants. And I love this shot, just going back one, where you can see from the waterfront the lights and the boats. So that's the place where a restaurant is located in the book that Vic and Ross go to eat and end up getting in an accident on their way back. But that restaurant actually does exist. I don't use its proper name in the book, but if you can figure out where it is, it's a really good restaurant, and it's right on the marsh in Murrells Inlet. And again, I love those kinds of things because it makes the book real to me. It makes the book real to anybody who's familiar with the area. And it's just kind of fun to plant those kind of clues. And now we're going back downtown to the beach area and getting a better look at the 2nd Avenue Pier, which is at one end of the actual boardwalk. And here we can see, you know, the actual beach view looking up toward the sky wheel. And here's what happens on those piers. This is what you can find people doing all day long. And they are having their best day. But at night, the piers are a wonderful place to take in the lights of the town. And on Wednesday night, they usually do fireworks out over the ocean. And the pier, if you can get a spot, it's a great place to see that. Of course, you can watch those fireworks anywhere from the hotel balconies, and also on the boardwalk. It's especially a good view on the boardwalk. The hotels aren't always angled in the right direction. You know, if your balcony's facing the wrong way, you're just out of luck. But standing on the pier or standing on the boardwalk, you're going to have a great view. And some of the piers do have restaurants on them as well, and gift shops, so that's always fun. Now, also in Loose Ends, there is a haunted amusement park. And so let's take a look here at, don't walk up on me. I want to back up here for a minute and go look at, come on. Well, we're gonna look at the pictures first, then maybe I can get the map to cooperate. Freestyle Amusement Park used to be Hard Rock Park. It snake bit. It was open to a whole lot of hullabaloo. There were some very big name investors and celebrities and musicians that were involved in the opening, and some put some money behind it. It was supposed to be rock and roll and thrill rides, and kind of be a complement to that small amusement park for families. Well, I think it lasted 2 years, closed, opened again, barely made it through the season. I don't think it actually did finish its 3rd season, and went into bankruptcy. So it has pretty well been sold off. As you can see from some of the pictures here, there's really not much left except some buildings that are going into decay. I don't know who these people are, but you can see that it's been tagged, and there's not much left except decay. So let me go to, now this is where I want to try to take you to a place here. Well, it's not letting me do that. So we'll go to Warbird Park. In the Badlands short story Cover Me, Simon solves a mystery with that involves some letters and 2 gay Air Force pilots. And it involves going to what was an Air Force base during World War II. Now, most of the base has become the, it's kind of split now between the Myrtle Beach airport, which is a civilian airport, and condos, shopping, park. It has taken decades to renovate this. And when we first started going down to Myrtle Beach, which was about 20 years ago, it looked a lot rougher than it does now. There were a lot of abandoned buildings from the World War II era. There was abandoned housing, military housing. There were kind of these cement block buildings that were leftovers from the base, and the base had cleared out long ago. And it took quite an endeavor to get the money together and get the community organized to make it into what it is today, which is a really, really nice place. But there is this memorial park that is at one end of it with some memories of not only the people who served there, but also the planes, and a lot of jogging area, some fountains, some really lovely sections. So, why this is, okay. Springmaid Beach Campground is, if you have read the novella Leap of Faith, Simon and Seth and Evan, who are from the Witchbane series, go to visit Simon and Vic on their way home, on their way to the next case after dealing with one of the witch disciples in Charleston. And they have a camper, which is what they live in, and they pull into one of the campgrounds down around the Springmaid, Surfside, Murrells Inlet area. Those are pretty spiffy campgrounds, and a little fancier than some of the places that they stay, which are more on the family-run KOA sort of thing. There's also a state park right there, a little below the main commercial area, that has beachfront and some nice amenities there. So I don't really identify the real life place where Seth and Evan parked their RV, but it gives you an idea of what they might have been able to enjoy. We do talk about them walking down the beach and having a nice vacation. Of course, they connect with Simon and Vic, hit it off just fine, and then all get pulled into another case with some ghosts and some spooky stuff. So, as one does, we wouldn't expect any less from our guys. But that is actually the first time they get to meet in person. That's actually a jellyfish. They wash up on the shore, depending on what time of year you go there. You just don't want to touch them. Don't poke them, don't step on them, and don't touch them. One more look at that Pirate Land camping resort. It is big, and here you can see it. They say camping. It's everything from RVs to rental travel trailers to small bungalows. It's got stores, it's got beachfront, it's got, there you can see some of the bungalows. So it's a very comfy place to stay. Got a rec area, a little gift shop. And so if you are going to be spending some time in Myrtle Beach and you don't want to do the hotel thing, you've got a travel trailer, you've got little kids who want to play all these things, not a bad option whatsoever. Now, and of course there is mini golf, which I haven't actually mentioned in any of the books, but that's one of my personal favorites besides the food. So I had been hoping to do the flyover thing and show you a couple places here, but Google Earth doesn't seem to be responding in quite the same way. So that'll have to wait for another time. It isn't letting me do the flyover, folks. I wanted to show you just what Freestyle Park looks like now and take you a couple other places, but I guess we will wrap things up. Folks, thank you so much for being with me tonight. And I hope you're enjoying the books. There will be more Badlands books and Witchbane books and everything else coming up as fast as I can write them. But thank you so very much for being with me. And if you're watching this, whether you watch this live or whether you watch it on the replay, hope you enjoy it and hope it brings a little more sight and sound and helps you picture the books better as you read them or reread them or read some new ones. So thank you very much. And I'm going to end the recording here, but thank you so much for being with us. We'll talk to you soon.